In the deep dark void of space, trillions of stars fill the night sky. Creations of such magnificent lights comes from a strange race of space squids. Although, no other creation is greater than the creation of life itself. We simply know them as the Starmakers. And the inspiration of today's project. Hello friend, join me on my creative process on how I created them. With my two equally sized bodies, I will focus this build on one, since both will be exactly the same sculpt. I will be using Super Sculpey Original for my clay. Once I cover the whole thing with clay, I can begin to smooth everything out. Trying to get this as smooth as possible. I'm gonna shift gears for a bit here and figure out the overall composition for this sculpture. Cutting some more wire for the two long tentacles and attaching it to my wooden base. Since they are a couple, I want them to be wrapped together in a loving embrace. Hopefully, as I progress in the sculpting, the weight on top won't be too much for the arms to handle. Time to finish up these arms by making the fin-like tentacles at the ends. I will now be covering them with Cosclay. This will give me flexibility to adjust and repose them later when I need to. Time now to work on the many squid legs required for this build. Now that they are cut to size, I will bulk them out with some foil. Repeating the same process again and covering them with more Cosclay. And let me just say, this repetitive process was very time consuming. With all my squid legs accounted for, we can now attach them together to the body. Also twisting up some copper wire to act as connectors for support. Apoxie Sculpt will help create a strong bod to hold the legs in place. With equal parts of A and B mixed thoroughly. Fitting my first set of legs into the body. I can now apply the Apoxie Sculpt. Once I have it covered, I let this set overnight. It's now the next day and it feels nice and secure. I can now connect and repose them to my liking. Now, I will admit, Courage the Cowardly Dog wasn't my absolute favorite cartoon when I was younger. But the show had a very unique charm, great characters, and great moments. which is why I think The Last of the Starmakers is such a brilliant masterpiece. The first 2-minute intro into this episode alone is the best thing ever made in all of animation and storytelling. Going back to the sculpture, with everything in place, I can finally go back to sculpting the final details. For the eyes, I pre-made some flat round domes and I will attach them using more Cosclay. The eyes are the most important part to convey any emotion and personality in this project. After all, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. I was having a lot of issues with cracking and breakage in this piece. A lot of extra time was spent fixing and touching up certain areas, mainly with the legs. With the sculpting now complete, I will even everything out with dry and wet sanding. Now to bring this project to life with some paint. I think I'll start with the mama squid this time. This deep magenta will do the trick as my base color. I will need to mix various tints of this color. This will be a nice tint of purple for the head. And this light tint for the body. The lighter purple I made wasn't light enough, so I'm going over everything again with an even lighter purple. Now for the same paint job to the Papa Squid. Using this nice mint green color. Now to go over everything with a thin layer of this iridescent medium. This will help provide some dimension and sheen to the piece. Moving on to the eyes, thankfully I already had the colors needed and I can apply it straight from the tube. Penciling in some guidelines for the pupils. Can't forget the little white dots for some shine. With a little dab of clay glue, I can begin adding the cone-shaped tops on the head. Rolling out a teeny weeny ball of clay that I will cut in half to make the eyes. With the help of my extruder, I can now make the legs. With this one done, I shall replicate more of them by saying this magic phrase. Although this one sparks joy like a sweet love letter, turning it into a letter of one is ever so better. Now I can paint them all. Adding some of the final details in the eyes. The fun part now is to cast them in UV resin. I was fortunate to find this egg-shaped mold online. It was the perfect size I needed to cast my mini Starmakers. I'm using a toothpick to slowly but gradually add and mix the blue ink with the resin, since I want the resin to be clear enough to see inside. I will now let this cure under the black light for about 2 minutes. Then I'll repeat this step 2 to maybe about 4 more times, depending, while flipping it over to a new side. That way I know that all sides are cured properly. Alrighty, moment of truth. I finally got a good looking cast after 2 failed attempts I had made prior. Time to finish the rest of them. Only thing left to do now is to paint my base a solid matte black. With everything finally done, only thing now is to put it all together. But we can just skip to the final look. This was by far one of the most challenging and emotional projects I had ever made. I ran into a lot of issues and setbacks, thus causing much delays on me being able to finish this piece. I felt very defeated at times, but this was one of those passion projects I had been dreaming about for a very long time, so I was gonna get it done no matter what. But what do you think? Always love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, consider subscribing to see more videos like this in the future, and hitting that bell notifications. That way you'll always be up to date on the new posts, since I can never post on a consistent basis. Thank you so much as always for watching. Go make something amazing today, and I will see you in the next one.